we're thrilled to be part of the community. We are down near Bethany Beach. We're down near Route 26. We're about 4 miles from Bethany Beach. We're in an area where there are no Whole Foods markets or Trader Joe's. So we feel like we fill a need in the community. Before I opened and I was building the store, because I built it myself, I contracted it myself, people would come every day and say, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm building a health food store. We really need organic food in this area." And they're like, "Are you sure, honey?" That was mainly the comment I would get. The day we opened, August 3rd, 2004, we had a line of people waiting for us to open. So I felt like there was a need in our community, and I feel like we fill it very well. We are, when I was filling out the form, we're a unique local business, but we have expanded. We have a second location in Rehoboth Beach that we opened last July 2nd, so we just had our 1-year anniversary. I was getting a lot of pressure to move into that marketplace. I really didn't want to leave my farm and my store, but I did, and I'm really glad that I did. I think we're also serving the community up in the Rehoboth area. So that's our core business, health food. We're like a mini Whole Foods. You can get organic milk, cheese, bread, groceries, produce, all kinds of unique items. We also sell high-end supplements from really good brands like New Chapter and Garden of Life and things of that nature. So that's our core business. We are open 7 days a week, year-round. We close 4 days a year. And if anything, a lot of people say, you know, health food stores, they come and go. I think that has been the key to our success. We never are closed. I had not done retail before I opened the store. I was a custom home builder for 15 years. That was my real job. And I didn't know retail, but I did talk to someone before I opened, and they said it takes about 5 years for customers to trust that you will be there, and you'll be there all the time. So one of the key things for us, and I'm very proud of, is we are open all the time. And that's hard to do, as you guys can imagine. With staff, I've got a great staff. I've got 3 women who've been with me pretty much since I've opened, and then we have seasonal help, and we're building our staff in Rehoboth. So that's our key business. Your time thing went away. I do want to talk about other things that we do. Our health food store, traditionally I think health food stores or small health food stores have been a little boring. We try to have a very fun location. Our store is located on our 10-acre USDA certified organic farm. We're the oldest USDA certified organic farm in the state of Delaware, continuously running. We were really early adopters of that organic program. This is a picture of our store, just one end of it. It kind of is a big L and it goes around. One of the other things that we do is we do events on our farm. About, I'd say 5 years ago, a friend of mine had asked if her daughter could have her wedding on our farm. And I said, "Are you kidding? We can't do that." Well, we did it, and it was one of the most fantastic events I've ever done. We had a 250-person wedding on our farm, and since then, we've been booking weddings nonstop. So it's been a really fun thing to do on the farm that it helps support the farm, and people love it. We also do farm-to-table dinners, and those are very well attended, and we do those for charities, and we do one in the spring and we do one in the fall. So those are really fun too. This is Matt Haley is our chef partner. I'm sure you guys have heard of Matt. He has been a huge supporter of mine from the day I opened. You know, he was very interested in what I do. He buys a lot of produce from our farm. We can barely keep a couple of his restaurants in produce. So he's been a really good partner for us, and he's been very generous. These are just some pictures of some farm weddings that we've had. Isn't this beautiful? This is, isn't that beautiful? That's in our herb garden. We have a big, huge demonstration garden right behind the health food store. So when you go outside of the store, you go right into this garden, and this is some bridesmaids. This is a beautiful bride in our garden. There's another wedding picture. Some wedding setups. I do all the flowers for the weddings too, by the way. So some cute ideas. This is we have a huge field on the left-hand side of the farm where people set up big tents for the wedding. So I just wanted to show you, and it's just beautiful. See these mason jar flowers? I started doing those about 10 years ago. They're really hot right now, but I feel like maybe I was a trendsetter, but I do them all the time. We sell them at all the farm markets, and brides order them, and people order them for events. And I think brides are now looking for something that's not so cookie cutter. They want something that looks really natural, flowers that are in season and very simple. So we specialize in that. And I think my time is up. Thank you. And I also brought this. This is a coupon to entice you to come to my store, and it's for a free organic candy bar. We used to have a free organic apple, but this works much better. We've learned as we've gone along. Okay, great. Any questions?
Yeah, I'd like to open it up for questions. So who's first?
Thank you. Thank you. People love coming to our store. We have chickens. We raise chickens, and we do our... We do. We open, actually, Kathy is here. About, I'd say, probably from the time we opened, people were saying, do you have coffee? And I'd direct them to the coffee area where we sold coffee. No, coffee made. And I'm like, oh, no, we don't have that. So it was a need that we really wanted to have a cafe in our store, and I knew I couldn't do it because I'm spread pretty thin. I do a lot of different things. I do the farm and the market and all the ordering. So I found Kathy Berzins, and she opened her cafe inside of my store 2.5 years ago. Third summer, the Birch Tree Cafe. So it's a great addition to our business because when people come to our farm and to our market, there's a certain feeling about it. We have flowers everywhere. It looks like, a lot of people say it looks like something from like you're in Europe. So they want to linger, so they can sit at the cafe and they can have a wonderful gluten-free muffin and coffee. We also have some outdoor seating in the back overlooking the herb garden. And we have chickens, and people wander around, and it's not just a health food store. I think we've really created an environment where people can just kind of come and be inspired and relax. So thank you for coming.
Yeah, sorry. You mentioned Whole Food earlier.
Yeah.
We all know how expensive Whole Foods can get.
Right.
Comparing the prices to your store.
I'd say we're probably right in line. We were talking earlier, when I travel, the first thing I do is go to a grocery store. I'm a little obsessed with grocery stores. I get really excited when I go into a Wegmans, like so excited I have to calm myself down. And same with Whole Foods. It's like a utopia. Good, clean food is not cheap. And that's the bottom line. I mean, when we first opened our store, I remember I would order organic chicken. And I was paying, $9.99 a pound for chicken breast. That was my wholesale price. And I'm doing the invoice, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is outrageous. And but people choose to eat that way, and it's the difference between the food is night and day. And you really you get what you pay for. And we have so many clients who have multiple chemical sensitivity, all kinds of issues that they don't have a choice. They have to eat clean food. And it's out there, it's a lot more expensive to produce. Just a little story, because you talked about pricing, and I think it's an issue. We had been supporting a local farmer here in Georgetown, The Farm, her eggs, for about 9 years. She chose to get out of the egg raising business. We had built such a clientele for her eggs at $8 a dozen, folks. We have a wait list for these eggs. We have a right now, today, when I left the store, we have a wait list for our eggs, and they are $8 a dozen. Well, the bottom line is when I was buying the eggs from Carolyn and the price kept going up, I kept thinking, gosh, she's ripping me off, she's ripping me off. Well, now that I'm raising the eggs, and now that I'm buying the organic feed, and I'm doing everything, she just did what she had to do. And I kept telling her, don't change what you're doing, Carolyn. People love your eggs. We'll see where the price will go. We'll see where it caps out. but just don't change what you're doing. And that's what we're doing. We're doing the same thing with our eggs, and that's the price to make a profit. But the difference in that feed and the price of that organic feed and what's in it versus what's in a traditional laying blend, read the label. It's all about choice, We're giving people that choice. But yes, it is expensive. I cry sometimes when I shop, but I'm committed to it.
I've been to your store in Rehoboth, but
Oh,
I've never
thank you.
been to your original location, and now I'm going there.
Thank you.
How do you educate the public, though? Because that's what it's all about.
Right. When we first opened, more so then than now, we had events constantly. We still do have events. We have cooking events. I taught a Grains 101 class. I taught an Organic 101 class where we delve into some of these questions. Why does this cost? Why is this cost more? Why is it? What's the difference?
And what are the benefits?
And what are the benefits? Exactly. So we have done lots of classes. We had, I had a picture, Matt came last summer with Dr. Johnny, his health coach and doctor, and they did a class on healthy eating. So we're constantly trying to educate. We had a cooking demo in May. My cousin came out from California, and she's a big advocate on healthy eating. So we're constantly having workshops, classes, events. They're all free. I put it on here, too, on our website. We put all of our events. So we do try to do education. We could do more. I mean, every time we have a 101 class, lots of people show up. And it's amazing to me how many folks are, in the 10 years that I've been in business, the people who would never darken the door of a health food store are now coming in and saying, my doctor said I have to go on cholesterol meds. Please help me. I have 6 months. Men, and men never reach out. It's typically women. So I have really seen an enlightenment and awareness, and it's fun to see. I think I've been lucky. The industry has really grown. As an industry, the health food business, organic food, clean food has grown tremendously. It's taken up most of the growth in the food industry. So I've been lucky to be part of that. And I think it's just people educating themselves and choosing, sometimes because they have to, sometimes because of choice and prevention. So, yeah, we do a lot of events. We really do. In the summer, we had a beekeeper recently come and talk about raw local honey is one of our biggest sellers. A couple of years ago, I had to put out SOS to the beekeepers in Delaware because we couldn't keep enough on the shelves. And now I'm supporting 3 beekeepers in both stores. So it's nice to see. So raw, local honey is a big seller for us. And we just had a honey class, all the benefits of honey, the enzymes, the minerals, all the nutrients in it. Because it's raw, it's not pasteurized, so those things are not eliminated.
I'm here.
Yes,
Congratulations.
thank you.
Of 10 years,
Uh-huh.
I see sustainability and retention.
Yes.
Which is a great thing. 2 things. One is, I heard you say collaboration. You have another business who's working within your location.
Well, Matt Haley is our chef partner, so anytime we have an event like a farm dinner, he's our chef. Like his team comes and does the dinner. He's also our #1 recommendation on our vendor list for farm weddings.
Awesome.
So if a bride comes to us to have a wedding, he'll sit with a bride and they'll do a seasonal menu. They'll bring food right from the farm to have on that wedding. So he's a wonderful person to work with.
Collaboration is awesome.
It is.
The second thing is, so now we've expanded to a second location.
Yes.
What's the long-term goal? Do I see a third? And if we see a third visually, how do you, or what are you looking for geographically for expansion?
Well, I'm not sure and maybe, I know this is an entrepreneurial thing. It took me a while to go into the Rehoboth market. My job prior to this job was a very it was a big job. And I really love to keep things, just serve my local community. I really feel like the future of the area, that we will get a Whole Foods or a Trader Joe's eventually. So I'm excited about expanding my business more into the agritourism section. I opened a bed and breakfast last year, forgot to tell you that. And we're booked almost every night. And I'm thinking of building some more cottages on the farm because people tend to really like to come out and stay on the farm, but we're 4 miles from the ocean too. So we have kind of a unique thing. Then if they're gluten-free, they have the cafe. And we've had people like the head of the gluten-free club in DC stay at our bed and breakfast. So it's a niche market, but it's a great market. You know, if I can just keep working that niche market, I think that we'll be successful.
Do you see, excuse me, do you see expanding on the western side of the county?
I really don't.
Okay.
I don't.
That's good.
I don't. We like the beach markets, and we also do farmers markets in season. We do Lewis, Bethany, and Fenwick. So we're pretty, yeah, we're pretty.
You know not to. You've already.
Yeah, it took me, like I said, people were begging me to go up to Rehoboth for years and years, and I just did it a year ago. And I'm glad I did, but I was hesitant, you know, do I want to be stretched that thin? But it's great that we're serving that community.
So lastly, what is one thing that you would do differently?
One thing that I would do differently, gosh. When I bought the property, it wasn't zoned commercial. I had to rezone it, and that took me 2.5 years. And I'm the type of person like, oh, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it right now. And I'm not so patient. So I think that in retrospect, I probably should have bought a property that was already zoned commercial. But I learned a lot going through the zoning process. And now my property is more valuable. So I've kind of have a double, from doing what I did and putting a commercial entrance in and all of that, it's been a great thing for me financially with the property, which is nice. But that was kind of a side thing. Because it was a farm, it was agricultural, and I rezoned it into commercial agricultural.
I have,
But it took a long time, lots of hoops.
I have great respect, obviously, for your product and your
Thank
market.
you. Thank you.
If I'm planning an event, and I was that handsome groom, by the way, I noticed you pointed out the bride, so I had to point out the groom. Do I order my own wines? Contract with you to order my wine, or how do I do that?
Most brides, actually, I would say most brides have that outside of their catering contract because they save money, and then they have the caterer like Matt Haley or some of the other fine caterers that we work with. They have them just pour. So most brides get their own wine, and we have a walk-in refrigerator so they can store it, a couple of days before all their beer and wine. Most brides have brought their own, but they have to have somebody licensed to pour it on our farm because we don't have that license. The caterer brings that. Does that make sense? Yep, but that seems to be the best way to do it. And sometimes they leave it in our walk-in. And then I'll say, if you don't come get this, I can't be responsible.
How many people do you employ? I know that you expanded to Rehoboth, but even at your main location, you've got a lot going on. How many of you?
Sandy, Susan, Dawn. I have 12 employees. Yep, and I do all the payroll and I do all the books.
And your bed and breakfast is right at the farm.
It is. Wow. It's actually part of my home. I did a lock-off apartment. I have 3 children, all in college. 2 graduated. Yay! One's a sophomore, so I still have 2 more years to go. But I started it when my last one went to college, and I renovated a whole area of my house. And
Congratulations.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Does that 12 include the staff for the bed and breakfast?
No, I don't have a staff of the bed. I just do that.
You just do it,
Yeah.
okay. What percentage of your goods are raised on the farm versus you bring in?
A very small percentage. We're a small farm. We produce eggs, berries. We do strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, and raspberries. And we do heirloom tomatoes and herbs. We do a lot of basil, believe it or not. I mean, I could just grow basil for the farmers markets. There's never enough. So it's a niche, you know what I mean? It's a small, we're not a traditional big producing farm. We do everything by hand. It's all intense, like raised bed type production.
What is your Rehoboth location like?
What is it like? I think it's great. It's a stand, when I was looking to go into the Rehoboth area, I didn't want to be in a strip mall because we have such a cool location on our farm. I wanted something homey. So it's a standalone building, and there's a high-end liquor, wine store in front, and we're in the back. So there's plenty of parking. It's kind of, it's nice. It's great parking. Yeah, there's plenty of parking, and that was a thing. You know, there was a downtown location available. They couldn't give me that. Sorry, anyone who has a business. Because people have to come and go from my grocery store. We have grocery carts. They need parking, stuff like that. So we love the building where we are. And I had to sign a lease. I'd never signed a lease in my life. Is that the stupidest thing you ever heard? I was reading this thing like a fine-tooth comb, and I was so scared to sign that lease. And the landlord's like, what is your problem? I'm like, I just have never done this before. But I negotiated hard, and I got the terms that I felt comfortable with, which is kind of unheard of in a commercial lease, because I wanted to kind of dip my toe in and see if it would be okay. And guess what? It's okay. So I re-upped my lease. So.
Susan, last question. What can we as a 1 Million Cups community do to support you?
Come to my stores and book an event on my farm.